Swales! It was Constantin in the companionway. He stuck his head in the mess door, saw the cook up to his wrists in flour and bacon fat, and, to his pleasure, the English scholar as well. Harrington turned groggily from his first cup of coffee. "What's all the to-do?" Seeing Harrington helped Constantin see other things as well, about their passenger, their so-called deck boy, and several unexplained nighttime meetings between the two. It suddenly seemed a reasonable guess the secret he and the captain had just learned might not be a secret to all. Sent for the cook in his capacity as ship's doctor, the mate's theory seemed worth testing. "Swales!" he snapped. "You are needed in the crew's quarters. The deck boy has been injured." Harrington leapt from the table, as if fired from a cannon. "What's happened?" "That is not your business," the mate replied. "Swales!" "I'm coming," the cook said, waving his hands to explain his sloth. "I'm coming too," Harrington insisted. Constantin had no knowledge of what the pair were up to, but it was painfully obvious he was right. The bookworm and the girl had an alliance, perhaps more. "You are not needed." "Mr. Constantin, forgive me, I merely meant I'm fond of the boy, and may I come? Perhaps I can be of help." Swales washed, toweling dry, stepped from the galley, put in a word. "He has a medical book learning, I do know. Mayhaps." "Yes," the mate said, eyeing the cook in a different light as well. Was Swales also being made a fool of, or was he a third member of this conspiracy? Thinking it best to keep them together until he knew, he turned to Harrington with a smile. "Perhaps you should come." Constantin rapped on the door to the crew's quarters and opened it at the captain's word. Stepping in, he said, "Swales, sir, as you ordered." He let the cook pass. Then, holding the Englishman at the door, added, "And, at his own insistence, Mr. Harrington." Nikolov glared, a question at his first, but said nothing. Instead, he laid a hand on Swales' chest to prevent his reaching the patient. "There is something you need to know, before you treat the boy." He looked at the door. "Jansu, have Herr Harrington wait in the companionway." "Pardon, sir," Constantin said with something up his sleeve. "Perhaps Mr. Harrington would prefer to tell him." The captain frowned, taking in the trio, mate, cook, and passenger. "Mr. Constantin, what is this about?" "Sir, it has been my observation that Mr. Harrington and—" He cleared his throat. "Funar are more familiar with each other than we were led to believe. I have interrupted several late-night meetings on deck, and am convinced their relationship predates our sailing. I believe our passenger is intimate enough with Funar. He is aware of the fact you were about to relate to Mr. Swales." Nikolov turned to the passenger. "Herr Harrington, do you know something that might assist the cook in treating Funar?" 3 sets of eyes bored into him. The captain's in question, Constantin's in triumph, and Swales in resignation. Harrington stared back in embarrassed silence. Nikolav's visage grew grim. The first's showed anticipation. The poor old Scotsman appeared trapped. Harrington could not have that. He and Ekaterina were nabbed, but there was no reason to drag Swales down. He pursed his lips and took a deep breath. He nodded respect to the captain, a curt acknowledgment to the mate, and told the cook, "Oliver, you don't know this, but the deck boy is not a boy. She is a young woman called Ekaterina Gabor." Swales' mind raced as he considered how to react. Finally, knowing he must, he followed Trevor's lead in feigned ignorance.
"No, alas, no, you don't say."
"Captain," Harrington said, "I'm sure you have questions. At least before you pass judgment, I hope you do. I will answer as I can. But I beg you, allow Swales to care for her now." "Mr. Swales, you will quietly see to the girl's needs. The crew is not to know, understand?" The captain did not wait for the cook's answer. "Herr Harrington, you will accompany me. Mr. Constantin, you will join us."